Blessings, Empress Vibrant here. Hey, Empress Vibrant here. Hope everybody is blessed. Welcome to my channel. Please like, share, subscribe, and comment. So, just have it on my heart to do a few more readings. All the information for your personal reading is in the description box below, and also on my channel there is a link to my link tree where you can go to my Facebook and also go to my Instagram. I've literally just posted up a midweek reading. May be beneficial for you to get over to my Instagram to listen to that particular messages. So again, led to do a reading on here. Yeah, so there is an energy going on, and I feel like this is a time where things are going to be addressed. This is times where you are now looking to sever communications, and I feel like something has come up that has really hit you, knocked you for six. For some of you, this is information that you've just found out. For some of you, this is things that you've kind of known about, but it's actually come to the surface now. And I feel like it's come to the surface just so you can address it, whether you're going to decide that you are going to face it head on. This could be, confronting somebody. This could be having clear communication. And this could be just deciding that you are not going to engage in any low vibrational relationships or interactions at this time as well. So it's a very up and down time, very emotional, a very emotional time right now. So I would say be gentle with yourself, take it easy, and you'll be led to do what it is that you need to do. And you'll also be protected throughout the actual situation. So the first card that came out that sort of kind of confirmed this sort of energy of anxiety, and for some of you, like I said, like I think it was like a huge revelation just to find out what's been happening. So the first card that we've got is truth. So some type of truth has come to the surface. Maybe you found out about somebody's character. Maybe you have found out a truth about the people that you care about. Maybe you've now you've actually decided to speak the truth on something that you've been holding in for so long. Maybe this truth will allow you to just set yourself free and not be so locked in, because I feel like some things that you've held inside has caused more harm than good. So I recognize that there is some type of truth, and there's also some type of truth that's been circulating as well. And I find with you hearing about this truth or somebody's truth, because not necessarily the truth that somebody may have may not be the truth, your truth. So I feel like for some of you, you've heard your name spun around, like even myself, I've heard my name spun around in situations and scenarios that make no sense. And, you have to then be strong enough not to go all guns blazing to confront or to pull up, to be drawn out. And sometimes, in fact, sometimes the best course of action is to be quiet and to stay to oneself, relax, rejuvenate, decide what you're going to do. I would say it's not about doing anything quick judgment. Don't make no quick judgment calls. Allow yourself to really decide what's been said, why has it been said, who's saying it, and then you can start asking those questions to yourself. Who's imagining these things, like the outcome. What I will say to myself, reading the laws of Ma'at with Heteru, who is imagining? Who is, acting? Is it the human or a divine being? So if you can start really looking at who is talking is that the human with the frailties of jealousy, ego, um, discomfort, dis-ease, sadness, and, subject to those conditionings. Then you can kind of sit back and sort of say, right, well, based on my findings of this person, of this situation, of these places, these things that draw up these types of emotions, or shows me this sort of truth, or I get to hear somebody's truth, I get then to make a decision based on how I move based on that. So if I'm dealing with somebody who's got all of these conditions, I'm less likely to lose my shit. Although, don't get me wrong, it's been a real rough one. Finding out some stuff, hearing the types of things that people can be saying about you, and you just got to really look at, why do you feel the need to keep recycling this narrative? And even if it was one of those things where some of the things that were said are true or not, why do you feel the need to keep having to say things? Why do you still need to feel validated, or to dishonor and dismember, and to dishonor somebody's name in order for you to feel better? There's obviously some healing that needs to get done here. So I'm feeling this energy where this truth is one of which, possibly for some of you, this is a truth that you have within that you would like to say, to get off your chest so that things are clear. And for some of you, this is a truth, somebody else's truth that has been circulating, and then you have some people who are they believe this truth, or they have been swayed by this truth, and this has caused a lot of anxiety, a lot of fear, and a lot of worry. So when I was going into the tarot, going about asking her what the clarification around it, we've got the sun in reverse. So we're talking about things not being well right now. The sun is the most positive card in the deck, and it's upside down. So this is a time where all your emotions are up to the high degree. You're not feeling yourself. The things that you've heard, the things that you've been discussing, it's really caused an issue with your self-esteem. It has knocked your confidence. It has made you view people and situations in not a bright light, because obviously now you're seeing people for who they really are. You're seeing that possibly the change that you was assuming would have happened by now has not taken place. And possibly you're even looking at yourself and saying, well, I've held certain truths to myself, and possibly, like I said, it's been more harm than good. So, what do I need to do next? Because right now it's not been serving you that well. And then we have here the Four of Swords. So we're talking about that rest and rejuvenation. So we're talking about, after all of this crazy stuff has happened, allowing yourself to just chill for a moment, relax in it, take your time and not allow, like I said, for that quick judgment, that quick decision, shooting off at the mouth, getting yourself stressed and worked up. It's easier said than done. Definitely, I put my hands up to that. Easier said than done. But sometimes even having communication with, your loved ones, and, confronting certain situations, you get some insight in how best to proceed. So when you are just resting in what it is that you've heard, who is talking, what's being said, and why, then you can just take time and decide what you're going to do next. And most likely what is going to be done next is to serve you moving forward. And it's not always about being validated. It's not always about expecting certain closure, because with certain situations you may never get any closure. However, to forgive the situation, to forgive the person, to accept that people are who they are. And sometimes things will be limited. You may want things to move on more further, but sometimes you just need to accept that some people are not ready yet and are not on that stage in their development to move on. They need the negative. They need that bubbling thing to move. There's something, there is a reason why they use this emotion to keep going. And they'll work that stuff out for themselves. That's not for you to work out. What's for you to work out is, how best am I going to use this situation to propel myself? Do I get dragged into a slanging match? Do I defend myself and my honor with everything that I have? And those are things that you're going to have to really deal with and decide. Because sometimes, like I said, I can even hear people sort of saying, your silence has almost been like you've co-signed what people have said, because you haven't come up and been like, actually, that's not the case. And then you have another school of thought who's like, well, I'm not going to address it because I'm not going to dignify all of that stuff with an answer, because it's ridiculous. So there's a workings that's going on. It's all bubbling up to the surface. And I would say rest, and I know it's difficult to rest when you have lots on your mind. However, we don't want this to affect your household. We've got the Four of Wands. And the Wands speaks about stability. It talks about household. It talks about coming together. It talks about family and celebration. So there's possibly big events on its way. And I think what's weighing down on the brain and causing this sun in reverse, this energy, and possibly wanting to retreat, is that how is things to be? Maybe there was supposed to be this coming together, and now this coming together is paused. How is this going to happen? How are we going to celebrate if there is so much negative energy around? And remembering that the stability is around our household and around our family and around us moving and us celebrating life. So for some of us, there is an disconnect going on in the home. There is an energy in the home that has been disrupted because of this truth, because of a revelation, because of somebody's actions, because of somebody's behavior, because of somebody else's truth, and possibly because of your own truth. Whether those around you want to take on board what it is that you have to say. You have a right to express yourself, and it's not for you to hold back what it is that you're saying, especially if it's within your household, because everybody wants their household to be a place where it's loving and open and everybody can be who they actually are without having to feel like they're being muted. That part of things really needs to get dealt with on that side. But when it comes to outside influences, those who are not in your household, don't feel the need to fight against the current. Don't fight against it. If people do not wish for peace right now, then you be peaceable. And that's the best way to work these things out. So the other card that came out here was pleasure. So I feel like after this truth, after you've decided what you're going to do, that you've decided that you want things to be stable, that you're not going to rush, and you're going to rest, and you're going to rejuvenate, and you're going to really look at the things that have made you feel sad and not complete, and basically that has caused an upheaval. There is pleasure in the end of it, because once you've made a decision that you are not just a human being but a divine one, and that you can say, okay, so this situation came to enlighten me. It came to show me people's true colors. It's trying to show me where the limitations are. What relationships that need to stay in the past. What interactions need to just be deaded. And also the types of energy that you just don't need around you. There's a pleasure in acceptance. There's a pleasure in forgiveness. There's a pleasure in being, and there's a pleasure in oneness. And that is what we're needing to work towards. That state of pleasure where we realize that, life is a state between peace, peace and pleasure, you know. And at the end of the day, where we're going through things that are less than desirable, the pleasure in it is seeing the lessons at the end of it, and also coming out the other end and having much to smile about and much to celebrate, and to remember that there's still much to be grateful for in the midst of all of the crazy energy. In the midst of all of that, there is much pleasure that can be derived from your current state, the relationships that you have, your family, your career, your hobbies, the things that you're choosing to do. There's much pleasure to be derived from being present and not being so caught up in what's going to happen in the future and being caught up with what happened in the past. It's, we get to really rob ourselves of our pleasure by looking at the past or looking too far into the future. It's about being present right now, and in the present there is much to be grateful for, and there is much pleasure that can be derived from looking at things from that space. So going into the tarot, clarifying why we have the pleasure here, we've got the High Priestess. And the High Priestess talks about intuition and spiritual growth and trusting and allowing and taking action, with that, finding a balance between the situations. This is using spiritual matters or spiritual tools to deal with human matters. This is where we can use our intuition and use our state of higher being to cultivate this pleasure out of the truths that have come up to set us free, that have come to show us something, to illuminate to us how best to proceed, what needs to be left behind, what needs to happen now. The High Priestess is that kind of energy that shows us to trust in the process, realizing that spiritual growth is in actual fact the reason for the upheaval and the reason for some of these challenges and obstacles that come up. So the more you have those things, the more you can really dig deep, and deal with those things, like your heartbreak and betrayal with this Three of Swords. Three of Swords talks about some heartbreak, betrayal, loss, setback, So we can derive from this that there has been things that have been hurtful, people who feel betrayed. Maybe you betrayed somebody. I've betrayed somebody before. I've been betrayed. It's a part of the way in which we have. It's the way in which we grow. It's the way in which we derive meaning for ourselves and to keep stretching ourselves. You get what I mean? So it's like, using that intuition and understanding that for some, they haven't got past this heartbreak, this betrayal, and certain time for this, it means that it's blocking their pleasures, and we could be blocking our pleasures simply by, like I said again, just thinking about the past, what's hurt us, who done it. I've got many people I can say, yeah, they done this, she said that, he did this, he'd said that, and I could get myself into a tailspin, and that will rob me of my joy right now, right in the now, and I'm choosing to walk a different path, and I'm choosing to be greater than my biggest mistakes, and I'm choosing to be greater than the things that I've done to hurt people and those things that people have hurt me with. That's what I'm cultivating at this time. It's not an easy road, because obviously emotions can sometimes sweep you away, but this is why we need to use our powers of discernment and intuition our spiritual tools and activations to really look beyond our conditioned state as human beings and actually look at ourselves as divine, you know. And in that note, we've got the Queen of Swords. So we know that the Queen of Swords, she's all about, teamwork, working together. And also, she doesn't play any games. She will cut people, places, and things out that does not serve. Yes, you will get chopped with the quickness. But also there is an energy around partnerships and an energy around collaborations and an energy around helping people and becoming somebody who can cultivate collaborations and oneness and projects and things of that nature. But if it's not serving, best believe it will get chopped, and that's the kind of energy that I'm feeling here. That there is a lot of situations that calls for reflection and calls for time of self-love, So we have truth and pleasure, So let's go into, in closing, let's get some words of affirmation and encouragement from the Gentle Hug for the Soul. Words of encouragement and affirmations we have regarding this spread, please. Thank you. I fill my body with healthy and nutritious foods. So that goes in with pleasure. I'm going to give myself what's necessary for my body so that I feel good, so that I have optimum energy, that I have, a feeling that is light and not lethargic. I establish boundaries based on love. I establish boundaries based on love. So you're establishing boundaries based on your love for yourself, first and foremost, and for those around you, so that you're able to then in turn respect their boundaries. And then there's a certain level of respect and accountability when you're dealing with making your boundaries be known. And then we have, I believe in myself. Yep. Believe in yourself, believe in the process, believe in your truths, and believe in the fact that you deserve pleasure and that you deserve to have what it is that you are having right now. If you weren't meant to have the things that you have right now, you wouldn't have them. So don't feel unworthy, less than, because you have naysayers. You'll always probably have naysayers. That's just part of it. And some of them naysayers are there just so that you can be like, it's okay, I will use you as a catalyst for my highest good. I'll use you as a catalyst for my pleasure. I will use you as a catalyst for change, healing, rejuvenation. And I'm not going to allow you to mess with my energy so much so that I don't even believe in myself no more. I believe in myself so much so that I'm going to use all of the things that are so-called negative to spur me on. So go on, talk if you want, talk. Do what you want to do. Stay, go, it's your business, nobody cares. And that's what it is. It's got to be an energy of, I'm doing me. So use the situations as a catalyst for you to move, for you to have that stability, for you to use your intuition and your spiritual tools to keep you moving forward. And cut people, places and things that are no longer serving. Boo, if that's the case. You get what I mean? So yeah, didn't mean this to be it's not that long, just under 25 minutes. But anyway, please like, share, subscribe and comment. All the information for your personal readings are in the description box below, and on my channel there is a link to my Linktree and my PayPal, so you can book your readings through my Linktree, hook up to my Instagram, Not been too on my Facebook, too tough. I'm not gonna front. That needs to kind of get dealt with. But in saying that, my Instagram is moving, and there are links there to my personal reading space. So book your readings. Let's connect. Let's thrash this thing out and get more personal with what's going on with you, and what does your ancestors have to say for you right now. So yes, have yourself a blissed day. Please like, share. Please like, share, subscribe, and comment. I love to hear when things resonate or what's been going on. Okay, so much love, and I will see you again soon. Big up yourselves.